It's always nice when films from my youth get re-released on DVD. And I'm not talking about childhood tales that were made for children. No, I'm talking about a movie called Arcade. And yes, it's just called Arcade. It's a movie from 1994 that's really awesome as a kid, and involves John Delancey making a killer VR program that forces the characters and the kids to fight for their lives or be trapped in the VR world forever. It's pretty similar to another movie he starred in where he pretty much does the same thing, called Evolver, only with a children's toy. Yeah, totally not reviewing this one in the future too. Arcade is a Full Moon Video production. Now, I have never seen any of their other movies except for this one. They also made Demonic Toys and the Puppet Master series, but just recently I saw they have also made the Evil Bong and the Ginger Dead Man series. Yeah, these are movies that actually exist.
I'm gonna have to catch you some other time!
And there's 3 of these things! Rotten Tomatoes, please tell me these movies are all bad. What? Not enough people have actually reviewed these for there to be percentage-based scores? And there's a 4th movie where both of them cross over together? Okay, now I know there's a target audience that loves movies that take themselves so seriously that they're really stupid, and they're horror movies, but I have never been one of them. Arcade was one of those videos that I just saw on the rental shelf and said, this looks awesome! I mean, come on, it's about people that get stuck in a VR world and have to fight for their lives. What kid would not pick this out during the video game / VR craze of the early 90s? Main character Alex is played by Megan Ward, who would go on to star in Party of 5 and Melrose Place as one of the main characters in each show. Nick, the secondary character, is that kid from Christmas Story who shot his eyes out. Whoops! Spoilers! John Delancey, or Q from Star Trek, is Arcade's creator, and Seth Green is one of the main character's friends. All the other actors in this movie have many spots in movies and TV series, but I have never noticed them in anything else. However, Sharon Falwell, who plays Alex's mother, has been in literally hundreds of TV shows and movies since the 1960s. Arcade was written by David Goyer. And yes, that David Goyer. Now, Arcade was the 4th movie he had ever written. Well, written and had actually been turned into a movie. His 2nd movie was Demonic Toys, also written with Full Moon Studios. Now, Arcade is actually credited with being story by Charles Band. And he actually has over 250 story credits to his name. Because what he does for his company is he comes up with the ideas for the movies and then goes out and hires writers to flesh out the movie idea in script format. And of course, David Goyer went on to write the Blade and the Batman trilogies. Oddly enough, he also wrote an episode for Perversions of Science, which was sort of like a rated R Twilight Zone thing on HBO, which I know of only because I was researching it for a future episode. So prepare for Arcade and kiss reality goodbye. Though we have a really slow 3-minute introduction scene, I really do like the idea that we start out with a really large and fuzzy image, and then we slowly pull back throughout the entire sequence to actually see what the image is. Her mother killed herself exactly 1 year ago, and Alex blames herself. Her father just sits in front of the TV all day and hardly even speaks to her anymore, and that won't even matter because he's never in the rest of the movie. Alex hooks up with her 5 friends. There's Stilts, Seth Green, his girlfriend Lori, Ben, Alex's boyfriend Greg, and Nick, who is secretly in love with Alex, which you can tell just from the way he looks at her. Secret Love Glasses says they should go to the arcade because...
It's the new Vertigotronics game. It's interactive. The graphics are unbelievable.
So they go to Dante's Inferno, one of those seedy arcade joints parents were told to keep their kids away from in the 80s.
Games like Arcade go beyond interaction. I'm telling you, man, virtual reality is the way of the future.
When I was a kid, I thought this very same thing. Then we're introduced to the bully of the arcade.
They got fucking Space Invaders in here. That shit's for retards.
Yes, the first international hit of an arcade game was made for retards. Anyway, Seth Green pretends to get in a fight with him, but is stopped by the arcade's owner, Donna's dad from That 70s Show, Don Stark.
Oh, shit. I want you out of here. Yeah? Well, your place sucks, man. Who gives a fuck about Arcade anyway?
Try saying that to
My face.
Ooh, pretty scary.
This is a really good introduction to arcade, and it's made all the more creepy and unsettling and sets the tone for the rest of the movie.
So how about you? You want to give it a try?
Oh, no, it wouldn't be much of a challenge. See, Alex always loses.
This is actually important because she's the main character. She can't just be good at everything, otherwise there's nothing for her to overcome during the course of the film.
What makes arcade different? It's the way it reacts. It responds like a human does. Each time you play it, it changes its strategy.
What's this button? Escape?
Yeah, well, that's in case things get a little intense. It's kind of like an eject button.
What's it doing?
It's memorizing its features.
Nick, the best gamer there, can't even get past the first level and hits the escape button he made fun of earlier because the game is really that intense. You can even see his hand shaking as he plays. Greg, Alex's boyfriend, decides to give it a shot, and while he's playing, Difford gives everyone free home versions of the game as they leave the room. But something isn't right. Arcade already knows Greg's name from hearing everyone say it earlier, and while everyone is gone, Greg loses and disappears. Alex can't find him anywhere, but her friends just say,
He's probably outside, you know.
Yeah,
he gets really bored
and he goes outside.
So let's go.
yeah, because that's a perfectly valid explanation to just ignore someone from your entire life. Yeah, and then also the fact that it's her boyfriend who just decides to leave randomly. Sure, yeah, I'll buy that. So with no boyfriend, Alex goes home and does what any teenager all by themselves would do. I mean, play video games.
Hello, Alex.
What?
Jesus, that would scare the shit out of me. I mean, it knows my name as well as all my friends' names. I mean, next thing you know, it'll be telling me all the games that my friends play and ask me to play them as well.
Where's Greg?
In here. He lost the game, and I won his soul. Let's see if you will be more of a challenge. Join us.
Alex, afraid of failure, chooses none of the paths and dies, only to find out that hours have gone by, Greg still isn't home, and Arcade continues to taunt her.
You can't just turn me off, Alex. I'm everywhere now.
Now, suspension of disbelief is a tricky thing. I can buy in the movie that all the home consoles can somehow connect to the main arcade unit back in the 1994 when this really wasn't that possible, but I can't buy the fact that when she tries to pull the cord and unplug the TV, that it does not let go. I mean, now we're getting into magical territory here. I mean, I could never understand or get into this when this happens in any movie. Alex goes to get help from Nick, but when she ejects the game, it goes into a screensaver mode.
I can't take my eyes off it. I think it's a fractal, but it...
A fractal? What is a fractal? Dictionary.com? Help me out here. Oh, it's absolutely nothing, and they just made it up. You know what? It's Arcade's heart. I'm just gonna call it that the rest of the movie. So, of course, Alex tells Nick about what her thoughts are on the arcade situation. Can you guess how he responds?
I think the game is alive somehow.
There's some confession as Alex says she's dealing with her problems, but all her friends' lines are also busy, and when she sees Arcade on again, there is this response from someone who refuses to believe her.
It turned itself back on.
No, it didn't. It's, just a faulty relay or something. It happens.
Yeah, you know who those type of people are. The people that never get anywhere in the movie and always die. Later, when Alex leaves, Nick can't turn his TV off. Maybe she was telling the truth, dumbass. And then, of course, on the monitor, there's something else that's not a fractal / Arcade's heart. You know what, I'm just going to call this Arcade's brain. At school the next day, only Nick and Stilts are there. Stilts' TV was broken, so he didn't actually play Arcade last night. Alex made a list of everyone who was at Dante's Inferno last night, and then found all their phones were out of order and none of them were at school. Man, I want this girl on my horror survival team. I mean, she figures everything out before the first act of the movie. Hell, she could prevent the entire movie from ever happening.
It's obviously a plot to take over the world, Nick. Do you want to get the straitjacket or should I?
Alex, what do you want me to do?
We should find out what's happened to them.
No way.
Oh, right. Low self-confidence and skeptical friends. The movie continues.
Mother's daughters, father's sons, tribulation.
Nick and Alex cut school just so Nick can put Alex's fears at ease, but they find Lori transfixed to the TV.
Stand back!
Jesus, Alex, calm down.
Lori?
What the fuck?
Lori, wake up. Wake up!
And there's a giant wind tornado, because apparently VR will also be able to spontaneously create windstorms / vacuum sucker devices out of nowhere. But that's okay, because Alex just destroys the TV and it goes away. You see, Arcade is pissed that Alex won't play the game. He really wants everyone to play, and he gets really angry when someone refuses to play the game world that he's in.
You could leave Greg here, Nick, and have Alex all to yourself.
Change the channel.
Alex, if you won't play the game by my rules, then I'll play in your world.
Oh, by the way, Nick's a believer now, as if having your friend disappear in front of you wasn't enough to convince you. So, question, why didn't he pull Alex in the first time that she played? I think it's because she refused to play the game, and the only reason his other friends got taken is because they actually played. So Arcade has some kind of twisted sense of honor, because since Alex didn't play, she just stood there and died, he didn't take her because it wasn't really taking somebody that had played the game. Oh, and as for why Nick hasn't been taken, well, I guess we're to assume that he didn't start playing the arcade home unit till like around 2 o'clock at night when Alex came to her place, and the only reason he didn't get abducted was because she yanked the unit off his head.
Vertigotronics.
What?
Well, they made Arcade. Look, it's still a game, isn't it? Somebody had to program it in the first place.
Realizing no one will believe their story, they pretend to want tips because the game is too hard, because...
I mean, you don't want us kids running around school saying your game's too hard, do you?
He introduces them to the programmer for Arcade, and yes, Arcade was designed by one person. Now, that was kind of believable for a movie that was filmed in 1991-94, but this totally did not work when I saw the 2007 movie Staying Alive. We're suspected to believe that one person created this giant three-dimensional world all by himself. That was more unbelievable than the serial magical killer in the entire movie. Wait a minute! Charles Band had the idea for this movie and had David Goyer write it in the same way that Difford had the idea for Arcade and had the programmer design it. Oh, this movie is very meta. Anyway, it's not really clear and the main plot is just a throwaway line. Yep, that's it. Also, I like how the programmer is just in a normal office chair. We even catch him playing Arcade like he's in the middle of one of those video game college commercials.
So, where do you think this guy should move?
I'd say this way. And let's make sure that sound effect we used in the last level fits in here too.
This one?
Yeah.
You know, I'm so glad I got into game design. It's cool to be able to create the kind of games that we play.
I know what you mean. And the training at Collins College takes less time than most people might think.
Can you believe we get paid to do this?
He shows the kids arcade schematics so we can learn the rules of arcade.
Each level has an exit, a doorway out of that world. Now, the doorways aren't always what they seem. So in each world, you have to find the doorway to the next level. And with it, a key. The keys are the key. See, they unlock Arcade's heart. From there, you can escape Arcade's brain back to our reality. Only problem is, nobody's been able to quite do it yet. There. You've only got so much time to find them. If you're too late, the screamer comes.
Right. How do you stop the screamer?
Oh, you can't. You can only escape. If he gets you, you're dead. It's like, time catching up with you, you know? All I can tell you is that it involves a donor. All right? Look, he was brain dead already, so it's not like, anything unethical happened. We only used a few 100,000 brain cells. It's not a big deal.
So wait a minute, let me get this straight. He's not saying he copied human brain cells. He's saying he literally connected a computer to human brain cells. So does that mean, like, the brain cells are in that arcade main unit? Or, like, are they all connected? Does each of them have some brain cells in them? I mean, how are they not decaying?
So where do you want to play the game, Nick?
Maybe we just shouldn't play the game at all. Just keep on driving.
We'll stop by Dante's Inferno and then we'll get some dinner after.
Keep on driving?
Yeah. Disappear forever.
Hold on, Greg just said this earlier to Alex the same way that Nick just did. Is this a setup for something that's going to happen at the end of the movie? Or am I just going to forget about it and never tell you at the end of this episode? Just like the movie did. Well, with their hints in hand, they go to where Arcade began. Dante's Inferno. Just in time for a windstorm to amplify the tone of the movie. And as they go down into Dante's Inferno, they hear what appears to be the whispers of many souls. All souls claimed by Arcade. Once inside, their schematics are gone, because Arcade only digitizes you. But Alex knew that would happen and already wrote everything on her arm, which is still on her digital arm. Damn, this is another reason why I want her on my horror survival team. I mean, what was Nick gonna do? Just show up and be like, shit, I forgot the schematics, and just die? And die he does, in the very second level. He says not to look at the fractal, and then gets obsessed with looking at it himself. But because this happened to him earlier in the film, and was hinted at, we know he can't control himself. But wait, it seems that programmer Albert suspected the kids of hiding something when they were there earlier, and he went to Dante's Inferno and was able to hit the escape button right before Nick would have been trapped in Arcade forever. But Arcade sensed his involvement and stopped all future escape attempts. Now it's just Alex and Arcade, with one loss away, meaning instant death / something. Alex sees her mom in a puddle of water on level 2. She heard her mother's voice briefly when she tried on the home unit. What this means is that Arcade is able to scan your entire mind along with your body and read all of your memories so that he can play tricks on you later. Isn't that nice? So level 1 was that cool maze of death, and level 2 was... don't get distracted by things? The level. Okay, so what's level 3 gonna be? Tell me it's something cool.
Well, the only way out of here is to try one of these doors.
One of them leads to the castle at the center of the labyrinth, and the other one leads to... certain death.
You can only ask one of us. It's in the rules. And I should warn you that one of us always tells the truth, and one of us always lies.
You may ask one of us a question. One tells the truth, the other lies. Who you ask remains your discretion. But if the answer's wrong, the questioner dies.
The city of truth is the place you seek. Either boatman will take you there. But the other city is dark and bleak. This is the teller of lies domain. Beware.
I am the liar. Where shall I take you?
I am the truth teller. Where should I take you?
Anyway, I actually did not understand this riddle when it was in Labyrinth. It wasn't until I watched this movie that I actually finally got it.
Liar. Did you come from the city on the left or the city on the right?
I came from the city on the left.
But you always lie. So you didn't come from the city on the left, which means the city on the left is a city of truth. Too late. You're taking me to the city on the left.
And level 4 isn't even a level, it's just a place to rest and get an extra life. The extra life being a small kid who is obviously not at all a young version of Arcade before he got turned into an arcade. And level 5 is actually a cool cycle chase. I don't really want to show you much of this because you should actually watch it. Level 6, Arcade's Sanctum. Where you just die. Yeah, that's it. He immediately spots you, electric death, you're gone. But wait. Oh my gosh. Maybe Alex didn't die. Maybe this is really level 7, and the whole point of level 6 is just die so you can get to level 7. Yeah, whatever, just roll with it. So in level 7, you have to deal with your darkest fear to win.
God, I dreamt you were dead.
I am dead. Watch.
But wait a minute. Lori hinted at this when they got to her before she vanished into Arcade. That means she actually played through all the levels on her own and only failed at the 7th level.
No! Get out of my house! When you care about me, you don't care about me.
Yet, somehow being able to interact with them while playing the level at the same time. But whatever, let's get on with it.
I'll take you with me so you never have to worry about letting me down again.
I didn't let you down.
My game's over.
But it seems her character development isn't enough to save her life. And thus, the movie ends.
You've let everyone down. Oh, but don't worry. I can bring your soul back. And we can play again. And again. And again. And again. And again. And again. What's happening to me? No! I play by my rules!
But guess what, asshole? You forgot my free life.
Wow, I mean, Arcade forgot about the extra life he gave Alex. I mean, come on, the extra life was the younger version of himself. What's funny is this actually isn't a Deus Ex Machina. It was actually hinted at twice about the extra life in the film, and it's just the villain being really, really stupid. In fact, you can clearly see Alex's smile on her dead body, apparently. So if you've been paying attention to the movie, you actually already see the twist coming. So this begs the question, did she wake up into level 7 and then fail it again, and then wake up in level 6 to get zapped to level 7 again when she got the extra life too? Oh, well, who the hell cares? She's released all her friends and the world is saved. The end.
I just thought of something. You guys, if we all came out of the game, what if Arcade did too?
Damn it, Alex, you're so smart you're even predicting the end of this movie.
Right here.
Bitch. Kiss reality goodbye.
Wow, Arcade has been released as a 10-year-old boy. The world will tremble. Though I am a little puzzled about Nick's love of Alex. I mean, what purpose did he serve in the film? You could have easily combined Nick and Greg's character into one person and just had somebody else vanish into the thing first, and the movie would have turned out exactly the same. I mean, Nick doesn't even get with her at the end of the movie. She gets back with Greg because she saved his life. So, I don't know, I guess kudos for trying something different? This movie was filmed in 1991, but didn't see a release until 1994, 3 years later. Seems Charles Brand was not happy with the special effects for the movie, so he basically said no to the entire thing and hired a whole new studio. Yeah, can you imagine working all that long on a movie and then being told you're not going to use any of your work and not get any credit for it? Because that's exactly what happened. So for the first time ever on this DVD, there's actually a 10-minute making of feature, and all of it features the original special effects, which are only seen here and nowhere else. I mean, for instance, this is the screamer from the 1994 movie. And this is what a screamer would have been in 1991. Well, here's Arcade in 1994. And here's version 1 of Arcade in 1991, and version 2 of Arcade.
Got my free life.
Well, special effects may be the most spectacular part of Arcade.
Yeah, he wasn't so menacing back then, was he? And you can clearly see in the designs that level 1, instead of being a spiked maze of death, was actually going to take place on the moon. Don't know what the level would have been. Probably just the moon. Maybe that's why they wanted it cut, because it was boring or something. Level 5, the chase, goes from looking like this to this. There's even a hint that one of the levels was changed in editing. I mean, it's hinted that Laurie clearly attacks Alex in the labyrinth-like puzzle, almost as if there was some type of love triangle / jealousy subplot that was written out of the film during the editing process. I mean, I really want to see an uncut version of this film, especially one with all the original graphics. Now, the graphics look better, but there's something really sad about seeing this company work on the entire movie, only to have the guy in charge just say, "Nope, not using any of it. Fuck y'all and your hard work." Originally, it was done by Digital Fantasy. They ended up going with DHD post-image. Yeah, Digital Fantasy doesn't even get a credit. That guy in the interview, not in the credits. Animation Supervisor, not even as a different person. That title isn't in the credits either. In fact, I can't find any credits for the 3D animators other than DHD post-image. What a little crap that is. Even the new people that worked for DHD didn't get any of their names in the credits of this movie. DHD post-image is still around, but it was only a 3D animation studio from 1989 to 1996. Their website isn't really good at telling you what they've done, only listing their clients' names, but never actually listing the actual products. Digital Fantasy, on the other hand, was such a generic name that I couldn't find anything about them because there were over 20 studios with that name. I did find Mark Kaczynski, the guy in the video. It seems Arcade would have been his first film had it been released in 1991. As his first visual effects credit is noted for being Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He then went on to do most of the special effects for Star Trek Voyager, Babylon 5, Sliders, Xena Warrior Princess, and for the last few years he's been doing all the Sci-Fi Channel original movies like Mega Piranha. One last thing I'd like to note is how Arcade actually empathizes with Alex while also mutually hating her for not playing the game. I mean, he says this.
Our parents destroyed us. Your mother turned you into a hollow human shell. Mine changed me into a monster inside this machine.
You're the donor?
The donor was a little boy. His mommy hid him until he went to sleep forever. But Vertigotronic stole his pain and I was born.
Also, he calls her a bitch many, many times throughout the film, yet at the same time empathizing with her. I mean, does he, like, hate her because she's a woman, just like his mom? It's obvious that people that made Arcade knew what they were doing. I mean, the sound and music is really good in this. They have a good character arc for Alex, as well as one or two other good characters in the film. I mean, there's a good lot of suspense and build-up for Arcade and the action and everything that happens throughout the movie. Good use of foreshadowing. Nothing seems out of place or like it just comes out of nowhere. I mean, a lot of this stuff is overlooked in movies, but this is the stuff that makes a good movie, despite the fact that they didn't have a lot of money to work with in this. Well, now I'm going to get my Oculus Rift, so I too can kiss reality goodbye.
An emptiness that you must fill. Find yourself in an empty space, sitting wait in an eerie place. Spirits whisper inside your ear. Are you afraid of fear? Fear is here to capture your soul, but don't let go.
When we said reality will never be the same,